Premiere Pro is a great editing software, and I'm an After Effects guy, so I love using a lot of different tools and effects. But when it comes to Premiere Pro, there's a different range of effects and different uses for them. So in this video, I want to talk about my top 10 favorite effects right here in Premiere Pro. Hey, what's going on, internet? This is Josh Noel from Sunduck Film. Welcome to our channel. If you're new here, hit that subscribe button. And of course, before we jump into these top 10 effects, be sure to smash the like button for that YouTube algorithm. It helps. So whether you're just starting out in Premiere Pro or you just want some ideas for your next edit, these top 10 effects will have you covered. And let me know in the comments below which effects you use often for your edits. All right, starting off our list, we have the echo effect. I use this a lot in After Effects, so it's nice to have it here in Premiere as well. So what I suggest is applying the echo effect to something that has an outline like a title. So in Premiere Pro, you can grab your title and turn off fill, and you can just check on stroke, and you can adjust the stroke width right here. What you want to do with the echo effect is make sure it's applied to something that has animation. So for this title, I can just add a keyframe for scale. I can move forward and have it go back, scale backward, and then I can have it scale forward again. So now I have this animation here and, whatever, but we can spruce this up with the echo effect. So I'm gonna go to my effects panel, go to video effects, and under the time folder, we'll find echo. We'll apply this to our title animation. And now with our echo effect, we can make some minor adjustments to this to make this look even better. So we come here to the number of echoes, we can increase this up to maybe 6 or even more, and that expands on the current echo effect. You can also lower the decay, which will kind of create a nice fade-in look there. So it's all said and done, you can have a really cool expanded effect on your title. There's a lot of different ways you can use this, but I love the echo effect. All right, the next effect on our list is the 4-color gradient, because I love using this for backgrounds because you can animate it and really create a unique color palette. All right, so how this works, you need to come down here and go to new item and create a color matte, and just click OK. Select any color you want, and we'll bring this color matte into our timeline. And it's just gonna be black as the color I selected, but then we'll go to generate, and we're gonna grab 4-color gradient. So what I like doing for our 4-color palette here is kind of select 2 similar colors. So I'll do maybe purple and another shade of purple, so those colors will be somewhat similar. And for our colors in the middle here for point 2 and 3, I'll select something different from the other color that we just did. So we'll have this, cool color gradient here, and we want to animate this. So what we can do to animate this is a couple things. You can add a keyframe for every single point here. You can move forward in your timeline, and by selecting the effect, you'll see these anchor points here in the program window. You can slightly move them around, just like that. Another technique that you can use is you add a keyframe for rotation. You can move forward and set that rotation to, say, 90 degrees or 180, and just scale this up to like 220. So this might be hard to see on YouTube, but this is animating and it looks really nice. All right, the third effect I enjoy using a lot is noise. So it's under noise and grain. It's the only effect there, noise and grain, and we'll apply this to our background. I love using this effect when I'm working with still graphics and I want to really just add some grit to it or match up graphics on top of video. So with the noise effect, you can keep it simple. You set it to 12% and uncheck use color noise. And overall, this will add a nice texture to our work. So for the 4th entry on the list, we're actually combining 2 effects into one. This is going to be denoise and de-reverb. So anytime you have echo in a room, de-reverb is going to help cut that down tremendously. I use this effect on all my tutorials, and I don't even touch the settings because I don't really know what I'm doing, but I know that this cuts down on the echo in the room. So anytime you have an echoey audio clip, apply de-reverb. Anytime you have a lot of, hissing or humming or like any of that static sound that you get in audio clip, add denoise to your audio, and the default settings on its own are usually good. And if it's possible, go ahead and lower the denoise amount because it'll just sound clearer. And if you don't have too much of that static, background noise, it'll help clean it up tremendously without distorting your audio. So we're about halfway through this list, and if you edit in Premiere Pro, you understand that it can be time consuming to do edits and specifically work on motion graphics. So I want to give a huge shout out to our 750 motion graphics advanced pack right here for Premiere Pro. So this is our motion graphic advanced pack right here in Premiere Pro, and you can preview over 750 templates right here in its own extension, from typography to really cool infographics, title animations, lower thirds, big titles, icon animations, and even animated backgrounds for your projects. How this works is simple. We can find a template that we want to use for our edit. We can just drag this into Premiere Pro. Then we can come here to the customizer, We'll come here to edit text. We can quickly edit anything that we need to change. And we can quickly change the colors of any template to match the style and the mood of our current project. And we have a handful of other properties depending on the template. And when it's all said and done, within a few seconds, you can have your very own animation, whatever you use right here in Premiere Pro. So if you're looking to save time and produce awesome work without ever leaving Premiere Pro, you can take a look at our motion graphics advanced pack. I will link it below. If you do pick up anything off our website, you will be supporting our channel, so thank you very much. So this really wouldn't be a top 10 effects without a green screen effect here in Premiere Pro, and that best green screen effect is Ultra Key. So you just apply it to your green screen footage or blue screen. You grab the key color and you just select out the color you don't want. Now there's a few settings we can go through. So matte cleanup is a good one. So increase the soften by a little bit, and you can also increase the choke, and that will kind of help tighten in around the edges of your talent. Now for anything that you put in the background, like say we just have this gradient that we already talked about, add noise or something, grain, anything to the background so it can help match the noise of your footage. So that's my suggestion and my fifth effect. So one effect that I enjoy using is posterize time, and I probably butchered it, but we can apply this to my footage, and what it's gonna do, nothing. But by lowering the frame rate, say down to 12:6, what this effect is gonna do is going to make our clips a little bit more on the stop motion end and give it a little bit of a stutter to it. I think it's a very unique effect to consider using if you're putting together a creative project and you want some style in the background. So for the seventh effect, this really was an effect that I didn't want to include on this list because it's just so common, but you gotta have it because it's incredibly powerful, and that's Warp Stabilizer. And if you don't know what Warp Stabilizer is, what it does, you just apply it to your footage and it's going to help make your shaky footage smooth. So if you did like a standstill handheld shot, it'll kind of make it look like it was shot on a tripod. If you have the camera moving, doing a dolly or tracking sort of movement, it's just going to smooth out the motion and not make it so, rigid with your handheld motions. All right, number 8 on our list is replicate under stylize, and that did rhyme. And how this works is you apply the replicate effect, and we can set our count up to 3. Then we can stack this with a transform effect. From the distort menu, bring that in there, and we can set our scale up to 300, and this will bring back the original shot. And what this allows us to do is create a unique, like mosaic animation. So we can add a keyframe for scale and move that keyframe forward and set the scale back to 100. And we'll grab our keyframes, right click on them, and just click on maybe easy in. And with these two effects applied together, you're gonna have this really cool reveal in. Now for our 9th effect, I'm actually going to stack this one more time with an effect that I like to use. It's under distort, and this is going to be called lens distortion. With lens distortion applied, we can decrease the curvature, and this will create a really cool warping perspective. And we can add a keyframe for this. We can move forward by a little bit, and then maybe set that back down to 0. Both of these effects can be applied for different things, but stacked together, I think it looks really nice to create a cool transition. So you can use this to slide between different shots. Instead of animating the scale, you can animate the position of that transform property. And you can use lens distortion for other creative effects within your edit. All right, for the very last effect that I enjoy using for footage is under blur and sharpen. It's called camera blur. I like to apply this to my footage and keep it relatively at a low setting. You could use this to animate in and create a soft focus of your footage, but what I like to maybe think about using this specifically for is to just bring certain things out of focus. We can come here to camera blur. I can come here and grab the pen tool, and I can create a mask around my subject, and I'll set the mask feather up to 250 and check on inverted. Create a focus on our main subject and blur out the rest of the background in a very subtle way. So those are my top 10 favorite effects here for After Effects in 2021. I'm sure this list will change a little bit as the years go by, but let me know in the comments, what are some of your favorite effects that you use often in Premiere Pro. So I hope you enjoyed this video. If you're new here, be sure to hit that subscribe button. We post multiple post-production tutorials every single week right here on the channel. You can also hit me up on my social media networks. Those links are below, and always be creating.